So here is a process that you can think about and keep in mind. And my guess is many of you may be following this process already. So there's 5 steps around a process to collect data. So the first thing we want to think about in the first activity is really clarifying our data collection goals. Why are we collecting this data? Is it because we're doing some form of improvement effort? Is it because we just want to understand some performance, some baseline performance of this part of our organization? Is it for some other reason? Is it, are we needing to report on compliance to an external regulatory body or whatever it might be? So why is it that we need this data? Yes, I do see a comment in the chat, right? Why are we collecting it? What's the purpose? And then even more specific to whatever that process is, what are the questions we have about the process? So, if I use a different example, let's say maybe a call center environment that services customers, maybe to pay their bills or to change something on their account. So the questions I might have is how many, customers do we serve in a day? How long does it take us to serve these customers? How long are our calls? Right. So those are some of the questions we would want to maybe have specific to the scenario or process we're studying. Then from there, once we have some clear understanding of, again, why we need this data, why we're collecting it, we then really need to make sure we have operational definitions. And we're going to talk about this a little bit more later, so I'm not going to go into this in depth right now. But we want to have a clear sense of how do we take this measurement? What's the definition around it? Then we need to also be clear on how do we get this data? And so that could be something like we have a phone system that captures call data, or we have some other kind of IT system that captures call data. Or if we're maybe in a smaller, less mature organization, maybe we need to ask certain people, can you track some of this information for us? So however the method and procedures that we're going to collect the data, we need to figure that out. Then the third step is really validating the measurement system. And so when we say measurement system, what that means is it's just the mechanism we're using to collect our data. So especially in our technology-driven world, right, this might be technology systems. In other cases where maybe we need humans to collect some data, even if it's being entered into systems, it's whatever that method and procedure is for that data collection. So we need to make sure we're going through some form of effort to validate that measurement system. And that's going to be actually what we focus on, 4 steps that we can focus on to do that. Then we go ahead and begin that data collection and capture that data for, whether it's some period of time or for some sample. And then over time, really continue to improve our measurement consistency. So this is also something, depending on kind of step number 3, validating our measurement system. If we find that there are some discrepancies, errors, missing information, whatever it might be, well, then what we want to do is still follow up and make improvements on how we're taking those measurements.